It is the day before the Robin Hood Half Marathon, my local half in the city of Nottingham, which I'll be running now for the second year in a row. And in my mind, this is the start of my official build-up to London Marathon 2026. My big target for next year is to go at least under 3 hours and maybe even faster over that full marathon distance. And obviously there's a lot of work to do between where I am now and where I want to be next April. But I'm hoping that tomorrow, if I can hit a big PB over 13 miles, that'll act as a little bit of a checkpoint on the way to hitting next year's goals. Right, time for a little shakeout run. 5k shakeout, all done with. 5:22 per kilometre average pace, and I think I'm going to finish with 5 or 6 sets of strides. So we'll finish up my run, got myself a few little snacks, a banana, protein shake and a bag of popcorn, but needless to say later on I will be having a very large portion of pasta, getting myself ready for tomorrow. But I thought I'd talk you through what my goals are for tomorrow's half. So in the grand scheme of things, I am actually relatively new to running and haven't actually ran a whole lot of fast half marathons. I think I was counting earlier, I've probably only ever gone under 1 hour 45 3 times in my life. One was a PB of 1 hour 37, which was a few years ago. Last year, I got my current PB, which is just under 1 hour 29. I think I went, 1 hour 28 minutes and 40 seconds. So an average pace of 4 minutes, 12 seconds per kilometre. Although Strava doesn't actually count it as a half marathon PB because it said that I only ran 21.07 kilometres. And then the second fastest time that I've ever ran in a half marathon was like 2 weeks ago in a training run where I did 3x5k at target half marathon pace to get ready for tomorrow's half. So I don't actually have a whole lot of experience in running maximum efforts for long distance races, so I'm feeling pretty nervous for tomorrow. My target for the race is to come in at under 1 hour 25 minutes, which would require an average pace of about 4 minutes per kilometre. So about 12 seconds faster per kilometre than what I managed last year, which doesn't sound like a huge amount, but as I'm getting faster and more advanced, those small gains are getting increasingly difficult to come by. I think there is actually a 1 hour 25 minute pacer running the race tomorrow, so maybe I'll try and stick with them. The pacer that I tried to follow last year went out pretty hot and ended up running a pretty aggressive positive split, whereas I was hoping to run pretty aggressive negative split, with the first half of the race being a lot hillier than the second half. I think there's about 160 metres of elevation over the first 11k, so not a huge amount, but certainly one of the more hilly city half marathons. I think if everything were to go exactly to plan tomorrow, I'd run that first 11 kilometres, bang on 4 minutes per kilometre, and then check in with myself, see how I feel at around the halfway point, and if I've got anything left, push on and up the pace. But anyway, I'm going to have my snacks, get myself showered, have a nice big dinner, and I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow on race day. See you then. Whoa, that's a lot of it more.
You'll eat that.
Yeah, perfect. 8:45. Good morning. So it's just past 20 past 6 and I've come downstairs to make myself some breakfast. Got some granola here with some blueberries and yogurt, very standard for me. A couple of cups of teas for me and Lil, and got the coffee machine on for a little bit later. Race starts at 9:30, so we're going to leave the house probably in about an hour's time. We're going to get the tram into central Nottingham, and there's a little bit of a walk to get there, but want to leave plenty of time to drop our bags off, get a good warm up in, and get to the start line. So walking to the tram stop in the centre of town. I'm also simultaneously trying to book an Uber driver just because it didn't even cross our minds to try and book a taxi. But 7:36, 2 hours until we start. How are you feeling, Lil?
I've got loads of time actually. Yeah, feeling good. Yeah, nervous and apprehensive. Excited. I feel like it's very rare that I go into a race with a time in mind. So yeah, see what I can do. The aim is sub 1:45. Honestly, don't mind how much by. Like, just I want a 1:44.59. Gorgeous. I'll be over the moon.
The taxi driver took us as close as he could get us, but obviously loads of the roads are closed.
That's
so
quite nice, 10-minute walk.
Yeah, 10-minute walk. It's only 10 to 8, so the race doesn't start for another hour and 40 minutes, and we're only a 10-minute walk away. So it's probably about 11 degrees now, 11, 12 degrees, overcast. It was raining a few hours ago, but I think it's going to brighten up as the day goes on. So it should be pretty decent conditions to run a half marathon. Yeah, we just braved the Portaloos for the first time. Probably will need to head back there pre-race immediately, but they weren't too bad. Hour and 20 until we start.
Oh.
So just going to sit in the queue and grab some coffee.
Oh.
Thank you.
Ready to go.
So stripped down to the race attire, dropped the bags off and just doing a little warm up now. It's so busy in like the start pen, so we've just had to come a little bit further out. So I'm aiming for 4 minutes per kilometre. What are you doing?
4:58, 4:59, I think just gets me in, but to be on the safe side, 4:58.
That looks satisfying, won't it? Finishing under an average pace of 5.
Yeah, that's basically the goal.
So I spotted my pacer, 125. Oh, 145 is that low? Right there?
140. No, I think that's a 0. I'll walk that way anyway and try and find them.
Okay, well best of luck, love.
Thank you.
Mwah.
Good luck. See you on the other side, everyone.
I'm not sure how much I'll be able to film because obviously I'll be running super flipping fast. But we'll try and get some footage. Either way, almost see you at the finish line. Wish us luck. See you there. Bye bye. Go on, lads. See you there.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Final time of, I think it was 1:24 something. 1:24.41. And the best thing is that it registered as 21.18k, so Strava will have this as a PB. Got to get your priorities straight. Go low! What was your time, Lil?
1:43.
Can we still have all of the men and all of the women that
2
took part
minutes
there,
in.
males and females? If we
Smashed
do,
it,
can we get
Lily.
one?
Andrew was complaining about his poorly feet and I thought he was being dramatic, and he's just shown me this.
I bought the Vaporflies for the half marathon last year. I don't think they did that to me, so maybe time to get a new pair of super shoes. We're going to head home and spend the rest of the day eating lots of dirty food. And I'll catch up with you guys in a couple of days' time to talk through how it all went and what the next couple of months of my training will look like, because I think we're very much on for the sub-3 hour.
You reckon? That's exciting.
I reckon, Lil.
London Marathon, here we come.
Right, see you in a bit, guys. So it's a couple of days later and I've had a bit of time to reflect on how it all went, and overall I have to say I'm really happy. I basically ended up throwing that strategy that I laid out to you guys at the start of the race completely out the window within the first kilometre, because the pacer shot off like a rocket, exactly as I thought he might. But I basically thought if I can stick on his heel for the entire race, I'm guaranteed to get in under that 1 hour and 25 minutes. And as you might have been able to see from some of the race day footage, despite it being a little bit wobbly, I'm sorry about that, but the field was pretty spread out in the second half. I think I ended up finishing somewhere in the top 150 out of over 10,000 runners, and over a 13-mile course, that means that in the second half that's likely to be the case. So if I hadn't have followed the pacer and decided to go with that negative split strategy, it might have worked, I might have got in at a faster time overall, but I would have been relying exclusively on myself and my own steam and my own motivation in order to achieve that. And I think in that first kilometre, with all the adrenaline surging through me, I just wasn't willing to take that risk. But what did I say? I said a 4 minute per kilometre average pace was what I needed to achieve. And if you look at my statistics from the day, that is exactly bang on what I got. In fact, I ended up finishing 1 hour, 24 and 41 seconds. And that's literally the exact time that I predicted when I plugged it into a calculator 3 months ago, when I had in my mind, this is what I'm gonna get on that day. So planned it to absolute perfection. And Garmin tells me that I used 97% of my available stamina on the day. So that's pretty close to a 10 out of 10 effort for me. And also just wanted to take a moment to give an honourable mention to my incredible wife Lil, who ended up finishing 12 minutes faster than her previous PB from last year, with a final time of 1 hour and 43 minutes. What an absolute beast. This was the longest training program that she's ever committed to, and watching her put in that work week after week and reap the results at the end of it is hugely satisfying, so incredibly proud of her. But looking ahead, as I mentioned on the day, I think with that performance in the bank, I'm pretty confident now that a sub-3 hour marathon in April next year is actually pretty realistic. Obviously it's twice the distance and I can't take anything for granted, and being a heavier runner, I know that my fatigue is slightly more exponential than the average person running a sub-3 hour marathon. And also I need to factor in things like nutrition and my hydration strategy on the day a lot more than you need to for a half marathon effort. But if I look at my own motivation to train, as well as my rate of progress more recently with my running, I'm still on an upwards trajectory and I'm making reliable and consistent progress even alongside my weightlifting. So with over 6 months left until the London Marathon itself, I'm confident that if I can put in the hard work and stay healthy, I can come out with a result at the end of it that I can be really happy with. But as I say that, I don't really want to spend the next 6 months exclusively focusing on this one race, because that's not a particularly exciting or sustainable way to train. And in the run up to this half marathon and some of the other running goals that I've been chasing more recently, I have eased off some of my weightlifting, especially my lower body work in the gym. So I think up until Christmas at least, I will be putting more of a focus back on this stuff. The peak distances that I've been running over these last couple of months only really ever got as high as about 70 kilometers. And that in itself wasn't what was challenging, balancing with my squats and my deadlifts in the gym. It was the sessions I was doing. So these are things like my interval work, threshold work, tempo runs, those sorts of things. You really need to be coming in fresh for these harder workouts. And I always come back to the idea that compromise is crucial to anyone who practices the old hybrid training method. And it just so happened that over the last couple of months, my focus has been on running, so I was willing to compromise the lower body stuff. It's not to say that I couldn't have balanced the two things at the same time, but whether or not my results on the running side of things would have been as significant as they were the way that I actually ended up training. But come the new year, I'm going to be hitting a huge marathon block. I'm going to see how far I can push myself and my endurance. Part of me thinks if I can run a half marathon on a hilly course at an average of 4 minutes per kilometre, what's to stop me doing that for 42k on a flat course, wearing a pair of shoes that aren't trying to sabotage me? But maybe that's a bit naive. We'll see how the next few months go. And finally, I did mention in my last video that I'd be raising money for Young Lives versus Cancer. More about that to come, but a few of you guys were asking whether or not I had a link to my fundraising page, so I've left one down below in the description with a bit of information about why this charity. But otherwise guys, that's everything for today, so subscribe down below for more running, lifting and general fitness content, and I'll see you again next time.